Morning. Today is Sunday as opposed to Saturday. It is the 9th. And I am out today doing this today as opposed to my normal day, mainly because yesterday it's the peak of deer season and you had enough hunters out in the woods that it just
Morning.
didn't
Today
seem
is
like
Sunday
the right
as
time
opposed
or
to
day.
Saturday.
It is
Right
the 9th.
day or time to be out, given all the
And I am out today
events of the
doing
week,
this
so-
today
so
as
shall
opposed to
we
my
say.
normal day,
So,
mainly
we're out
because
today kind of doing a
yesterday
mulligan.
it's the peak of deer season and you
a
had
couple
enough
things
hunters
to
out in the
discuss.
woods.
Some are
that
Bigfoot related, some are kind of not,
it
but
just
they
didn't
play
seem like
into
the
the
right
subject
time
on
or
a
day.
conceptual
What's
level.
right day or time
One of
to be
those,
out, given
and
all the,
we're going to stomp around a familiar area.
events
We're
of
in
the week,
Connecticut
so-
today,
so
mainly
shall we say.
because
So we're out
yesterday,
today
as
kind of doing
opposed
a
to going to
mulligan.
Vermont had a wind chill
And
yesterday
a couple
morning
things
of
to
about
discuss.
16
Some are
degrees.
Bigfoot related, some are kind of
Which,
not. But
although
they
you're
play
not
into
going
the
to die,
subject
is
on a
preventative
conceptual
of
level.
doing a lot of the normal
It's one of
things you would
those,
do
and
comfortably.
we're going to
So
stomp around a familiar
judgment
area.
call
We're
made.
in
It
Connecticut
is what
today,
it
mainly
is.
because yesterday, as opposed to going to Vermont had a wind chill yesterday morning of about 16 degrees. Which, although you're not going to die, is preventative of doing a lot of the normal things that you would do comfortably. So
today
judgment
you
call
don't really
made.
have as
It
much
is what
wind,
it
so it's a
is.
lot more quiet. Which is better for being out here anyway, because hearing anything around you yesterday was going to be a challenge anyway. But there was just kind of a safety concern, all things concerned. And I saw two people, actually the three hunters, that just dawned on me. They were heading into the woods. Maybe they hadn't donned their orange yet, but they didn't seem to have any orange on. Because my second day in Vermont, I came upon a pair of duck hunters who were completely lacking any orange. So it ain't just the hikers that get scolded for not having orange on. I think it's actually a violation of the law up there too. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Vermont hunters, if you watch my channel and you know that for sure, weigh in. I wouldn't mind knowing that. So again, I haven't seen the trail cam footage yet, so I'll need to see that first. I will say this of the source that I came by. It's on the Culls podcast, and we do have a minor disagreement with previous trail cam footage. There's a trail cam footage, a bit of, it's I think it's photos, but it's like actually from Vermont. And he shared it with me on the fly before people had seen it publicly, and it is in all likelihood an owl landing and taking prey at night. He thinks otherwise. I know he's not a person given to wooism, so I respectfully disagree. Respectfully, I agree to disagree with you, and that's okay. I also was made aware of, I'm believing this is probably in North Carolina, where a friend of my former Nesra member is claiming he found a 26-inch print. And to the gentleman in question, dude, the nature of what you showed me is open to a lot of interpretation. So before you jump to conclude that so quickly, I would invite you to consider other alternatives. I'm just saying. Because I know you and I'm like you, I'm being diplomatic, but I'm dubious of that being an actual track that big. Because your typical sizable tracks they kind of like peak out around the 18-inch mark, I think. And the ones on the eastern side of the country, given the nature of the diet, probably are not big 8-foot giants. The ones I've seen kind of max out at 7. And yes, I've seen 3 different individuals over the years. And they weren't ginormous. One may have been, but that was seen in the dark under some very, very brief and sudden circumstances. So take that for what it is. That is all I have for rumor fodder. I need to look at the trail cam thing before I have a solid opinion on it. So that being said, I'm going to take a segment break and cover some ground in here. Listening for signs of activity. Maybe just mapping out where the hunter stashes are, because I mean, if they are the same as last year, there's one over there, there's a blind over there. If you go over there and jump the river and go up the hill and around to the right, there's one in there. I'm not going to give the exact location for sake of privacy, but if you're a hunter and you hunt this stretch of woods, I know where your stuff is because it's not hard to find. I'm just letting you know that if that bothers you. On a more comedic note that I found funny, yesterday I hiked into an area that's along the periphery of where I got lost 2 years ago and had that little misadventure. And I went to the lean-to more out of curiosity what kind of shape it was in, because it's been run down as shit for a while, but somebody actually fixed it up. It was actually in pretty good shape. But what I found there, if you're a person who's out there drinking in the woods and hiding from the wife, I found your whiskey bottle out there where you have it stashed. I thought that was pretty funny. So, as well as you thought you had it hidden, it's not hidden so well. Because I'm some random stranger passing by. I didn't touch it. It's still there. It's waiting for you, but kind of running low too, so I think you probably need a new one at some point. But yeah, enjoy your hooch in the woods. But I did find it just to kind of lend a little bit of comedy to that. I found that funny. But if you're the guy that fixed up the lean-to, you did a good job. So all the power to you. Good on you. We're going to take a break and we'll come back a little bit, but I need to think if there's anything else to cover, and if I can get a signal out here, maybe I will watch that trail cam and I can come back with more coherent thoughts. Again, haven't seen it yet, so let's try see if I can do that. Again, we'll be back in a bit. I was sighting in a mini striker crossbow, so I'll do a little bit of a review on that. It is a nice little crossbow. It is, they call it a pistol crossbow, but to me it's a little bit bigger than a pistol. I'm going to call it a carbine level. You can carry it with one hand easily enough, but when you shoot it, if you want good aim, you are using two. But I've seen two pistol crossbows. One I will definitely come right out and call a toy, because I have shot it in the woods, and if you're shooting it like that tree right there, I've literally seen the bolt bounce off the tree. So were you to shoot a human with that one, it will probably sting when it bounces off the person, but if they have a thick enough coat on, it's a toy that shoots pointy sticks, and if you got somebody in the eye, yes, you would hurt them, but as far as calling it deadly, I think that's probably a stretch. Unless you have a freak shot where you get him in the eye or similar. The one I was sighting in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday is definitely a hunting weapon, and I would definitely say that if you were to classify that as a toy versus an actual weapon, it is a weapon. Don't kid yourself. It is more portable than my bigger one. And I'll just use that tree right, the one further back over there. You could put a bolt into that with enough force. You're not going to have enough. You're not going to be able to pull it back out again. So you can easily put the bolt into a target. I mean, provided you have the aim, you can put it out 100 yards. Definitely 25 to 50. They claim the marketing people would have you believe you can drop a buck at 40 yards. And I'll grudgingly say that if you got the perfect shot with the perfect aim and a really nasty broadhead, maybe. I mean, for the sake of what I'm doing, if you had a blunt-tipped bolt and you're hunting something like a grouse at 30 yards, you can definitely drop a grouse. You can probably take down a turkey with a field point. So this is definitely a decent... It's online, like basically when you do the review comparison, it is one of the better rated ones, and it is actually, if you're a bird hunter like myself and you are doing anything from turkey or goose down to ducks and quail or pheasant or grouse, you're going to it's definitely capable of bringing down your prey. And it's also a self-cocking one, which means unlike the fun and games of the big one where you step on the thing in the bottom and use the mechanism to reload the thing, this one reloads pretty quickly and without a lot of force because the mechanics are built into the actual thing. So reloading it is not... Probably to reload is, if you have the bolts all right there and they're ready to go, you can probably alternate, have another shot ready within 5-6 seconds if you're fast enough. Which for a crossbow isn't bad. You know, I know other people are like, well, guns, but if you saw the size of a grouse and you're blasting a grouse with a shotgun, you basically have bits with pellets in them. So, yeah. I smell another segment break coming on because I want to look around here a little bit more for a mix of signs of activity. I didn't see any further activity that would point to a bushcrafter other than it was right by the pond, but maybe that's their area for that. But unless I come across something else online that comes to my mind, it was like the trail cam picture, which Steve is a way of presenting it in a more neutral standing and kind of like leaves it to the person, but he'll drop a hint on how he feels about it. And if you have a GoFundMe the next day and a couple of other things, you know, again, sorry, it kind of reeks. Kind of reeks of malfeasance and playing on the gullible, but it is what it is. Other than that, we're going to take a segment break and we will come back in a little bit and see what else is there. What I am going to point out, however, some people believe in stick structure stuff and would call that an arch. You can literally see right there where it's bent over because that big tree is right there and it fell from up there somewhere. So Bigfoot didn't do that, and yeah. I know there are those that would try to challenge that, but no, they didn't. It is deadfall, gravity, and wind. This area is prone to a lot of heavy wind. And I've been here and shown that to you literally in real time before, so I'm sorry if you're gullible, but you're only setting yourself up for continual disappointment sometimes. Segment break begins now. All right, we're back because we actually did find the blind. It's basically there. It's either, it doesn't look like it was taken down as much as the elements have basically had their way with it and flattened it out. So that's why I couldn't find it, because it wasn't standing up. But you would think for the sake of giggles that the person who put it up should come back out and get their shit, because at this point it's basically litter, and the chair's like flat in there too. So maybe the guy passed away, I don't know. But it's seen better days. And this dead ass thing. But there you go. It's right there. It's clearly seen better days. And as we kind of step towards a clearing, I am going to kind of wrap this one up because I really didn't. The weather conditions kind of didn't really make this a big week out to go out and do epic things. Not every week is like that. And maybe before it gets too cold, we'll get one of those. Lovely deadfall. Lovely beaver pond in the background. We're going to wrap this one up here. So again, like, subscribe, offer comments, suggestions, that sort of thing. We did find the blind. The blind is dead. Hopefully somebody get that thing out of here. And I know someone out there is like, well, why don't you do it? Well, basically it ain't mine. And I don't know, maybe the guy feels he can salvage it and he'll come back and do so, but it's been here for 3 years, slowly deteriorating, and it is where it is now. So there's that. I am going to make my way back out. I've been here for a bit. As typical for the area, it's quiet. Until it seems like the weirdness doesn't pick up until it gets colder out here. I'm not really sure why. But as for next week, I enter into that time of year where you're kind of up against the clock with Vermont, because as of the end of December, the gates all close. So getting in requires... Actually, I don't know if a snow machine's even legal past some of the gates. I've been told by locals that if you get caught in there behind the gate and you're not on foot, you're facing a sizable fine. So I also have checked into rental of snow machines and only found that they have like guided groups, which isn't really going to help in the pursuit of what I'm trying to do out there. So sorry, I'm kind of getting hucky. I don't know if there's a local wildfire, but that's been what's been going on, like I said in the beginning of the video. But I want to get up there one or two more times, maybe three, and do what I can before the white devil comes and makes that a pain in the ass to get into. Because once that happens, conditions up there get tough. And I'll be down here more, but I stayed local this week mainly just because it was so damn cold up there yesterday. It was kind of a self-defeating prophecy to even try to get up there and do anything, because in 16 degrees, you're just trying to figure out how to stay warm. And if I had gotten up there earlier, it was just going to be colder. And then, of course, today it's a little bit more equitable like today, but it's also a school night, so interstate travel becomes more bogged down by school night. And that's an interesting find, because as that popped up, that probably is naturally occurring, but you wouldn't necessarily think so. But when it came up, the rock had been growing between the roots and it could have just pulled it up. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Like, subscribe, and all that, like I said, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you. Bye.